Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony McCauley. I'm a contributor and sometimes administrator on this page, and I've occasionally posted a few videos about various things that might be of interest to Jamaicans of North Texas. So, greetings to one and all in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I hope and pray that you're all doing well. I can't speak for anyone else, but ever since Tuesday of this week, when Melissa first hit Jamaica, I've been experiencing what I can only describe as a borderline grief and depression. I kind of feel like someone's hit me over the head with a brick or something, and I just feel stunned. Of course, all the major news networks covered the hurricane in great detail, and some of them still are covering the aftermath and the recovery efforts as Jamaicans recover from the shock and awe of the hurricane and slowly try to gather their thoughts so that they can get into survival mode, because that's what many of them are in right now, just so that they can get through the next few difficult days. And then, of course, they can turn their attention to rebuilding. The extent of the devastation was, as you know, catastrophic. And you know what? If Houston, Texas, or New Orleans, Louisiana, had been hit with a Category 5, they'd be in the same shape. But yes, as far as Jamaica is concerned, it was catastrophic. No part of the island was completely spared, although some areas were hit much harder than others. The western parishes of the island in particular were hit hard, especially St. Elizabeth and Black River, the capital of that parish, which for all intents and purposes is now completely in ruins. Even though Jamaicans are very resilient, and we know that they will build back better, when you look at some of the videos on YouTube by independent contributors, and they take you into the inward parts of the island and up on the hills, and you see the damage to roads, some parts of which have been completely obliterated. Much of the island is still without power and water. At least 500,000 people have been completely displaced. In other words, they are homeless. There are shortages of food and just about all the things, water, and just about all the things that are necessary to sustain life. With the heat and the flooding and the rotting vegetation, the cattle and crops that have died, and things that have perished in the water, it's only a matter of time before mosquitoes begin to take advantage of that and spread diseases that could be potentially fatal. And of course, we know the hospitals and healthcare sector, they're basically on life support. They took a severe hit. When you look at the extent of the damage, it's really disheartening. And I think I was reminded of it today because I've been on a downer ever since Tuesday. I just got back from Fiesta. I picked up 2 tins of ackee, and I said to myself, let me pick them up now so that I can have some for Christmas. Because we know the agricultural sector in Jamaica took a huge hit. Many of those trees and crops have been completely wiped out. My brothers and sisters, Jamaica has taken a severe licking. Only the strong will survive. Most of my family are here, but I do have some family in Jamaica who were in Kingston mainly, and thankfully there was no loss of life or limb, but some of them did lose a little zinc from their roof. So we're all probably experiencing the same feelings. when we see what has taken place in Jamaica land we love. So I just did this short video to let you know that if your heart is grieved and you're still recovering from the shock and loss of what Melissa has done to our beloved island, you're not alone. We're all shocked and saddened by what Melissa has done to our beautiful island and our beautiful people. Jamaica has given so much to the world, and it is encouraging to see the many people and nations all around her who are rallying around her to help. And now that the airports are open, much needed medical, water, food, equipment and other supplies are beginning to flow into the island. One financial expert has said that the total loss to Jamaica in US dollars is something to the tune of 8 billion. Some infrastructure is going to have to be completely rebuilt. Many people in Jamaica do not have private homeowners insurance like we have here. It's not that widespread because it's very expensive. So many of them will have to depend upon their own resources and help from family and friends to recover. It could take many years to recover from all the damage, although I'm quite sure that some things may be up and running pretty quickly. Of course, the tourism sector has taken quite a blow. But many of those hotels, especially the larger ones, probably do have emergency and catastrophe insurance provisions in place to cover their losses and help them rebuild. And I'm quite sure that, many of those, it won't be tomorrow, but they'll be up and running again in order that they can provide employment for people and bring in the much needed foreign exchange. In the face of the suffering, I am encouraged by many of the videos that I've seen on YouTube in spite of the hardship. People all around Jamaica are still thanking God that in spite of their extreme loss, life and limb was spared, and with God's help they can recover and rebuild. So how can we help? Well, as a Christian, the most important thing I know to do, and I encourage all of you to do, is to pray for Jamaica, that God would help them to recover and repair. Of course, we can help our family who are down there by checking in on them, checking up on them, and by sending financial assistance and helping them in practical ways, such as sending barrels of food, clothing, and other supplies. We can also support the efforts of Food for the Poor in particular, because they are based in Jamaica, and other credible charitable organizations who have all the connections needed, to buy things in bulk and to distribute them quickly to those who are in need. As far as Dallas is concerned, I believe Jamaica Gates, a restaurant in Arlington, is accepting donations of non-perishable items. And on Sunday, November the 9th, Junior Dennis, who is the owner of Jamaica Cabana, 1835 South Harwood in Dallas, he'll be doing a special outreach and food drive for Jamaica. So feel free to support him, to bring your canned goods and other supplies to him. And while you're there, support his business. That's what I'm planning to do. In the meantime, let's continue to pray for Jamaica, as I pray for each and every person under the sound of my voice, that it may be well with you, and that it may be well with the island and the people and your loved ones in Jamaica. That God would give the leaders of our country wisdom and discernment in order that they'll have his help and direction in the rebuilding process. Be encouraged. Hurricane Melissa may have taken us by surprise, but it has not taken God by surprise. Jamaica is a country that believes in God, and He will not abandon them in their day of distress. And as I close, remember these immortal words and be encouraged. We're little, but we're Taloa. Jamaica's greatest days, my friends, are yet to come. God bless you. Leave a comment if you so desire.